Hey guys, Misfit Garage Tech video here. So we got a brand new, right off the lot, Polaris RZR Pro R Ultimate. So yeah, we just wanted to do some videos kind of highlighting the issues we've seen on these Pro Rs and kind of what you should be looking out for. This one's obviously getting a cage. Every UTV, the first thing it should be done to it should be a cage. So yeah, we'll go into what items need to be addressed on this car. So in our opinion, we come from the racing world, so we know everything there is to know about prepping a car. And what we think is the most important thing that really should be addressed on these cars is Polaris using all the wrong bolts in all of the suspension components. There's not a single bolt on the car that the shank or shoulder, whatever you want to call it, of the bolt goes all the way through both sides of the mounting tab, which is a huge problem. And the other thing on the Pro Rs specifically that Polaris decided to do was to use suspension bolts that not only don't go all the way through, but the shank on the bolts is actually a 1/16 of an inch smaller diameter than the threads, which is not how it should be. If anything, usually the shank is a couple of thousandths bigger than the threads, just to make it obviously the strongest part of the bolt. So yeah, that's item number one. It's a huge one to me and should really be addressed. Alrighty, so item number two, which seems to be a mystery to most people. I haven't found an explanation yet other than something is wrong in the cycling of the suspension, is the shock fork on only the passenger side seems to be snapping off the shock shaft. I don't know what the reason is. I don't know if anyone knows. Yeah, for whatever reason, at full bump, there's some sort of angle or something that's off in the cycle of the suspension, and it's just causing a massive failure on that shock fork. And when that happens, it takes out a lot of your components in the front. Another really big issue that should really be addressed. We make a billet shock fork. It'll be for sale here at the beginning of the next week. That's not why we're highlighting this. We're just highlighting all the problems that we know of. There's a lot of people who make really nice shock forks. So yeah, if you have a Pro R, Turbo R, you should really look into swapping those out. The last issue we're going to talk about today is specifically the upper ball joint. It's the same ball joint that Polaris has used for a long time on the RZRs. Goes back to something like 2015 or 2016 RZR. I mean, the cars have tripled in horsepower and increased drastically in size, and we're still using the same size suspension components. And I don't know, to me that just doesn't make sense. They do have it's all new for this model, new lower ball joint. Haven't seen a whole lot of upgrades for that yet, but there are tons of upgrades for the upper ball joint because, like I said, it's the same one that's been used on tons of models, so there's a lot of options. Keller, I believe, makes a really nice two-piece one. Hypertech also makes a really nice two-piece one. So yeah, that's another thing you want to address, because if that ball joint fails or pops out of that hub, again, massive damage on everything in the front. It's going to cost you a lot of money, so just upgrade it now and feel safe about it. I think that's it for today. Let us know if you know of any other issues with the cars, and we'd love to look into them.